got to wake America up to a simple reality. My daughter, she just turned 18 on February the 18th.
Wow.
Some of you know, some of you met her. How many's met my daughter? She's dual enrolled in high school and college this year. And matter of fact, she finished high school yesterday with the final test that she took. But she's already a year ahead in college because of the dual enrollment program. And she works a full-time job. She understands the Monopoly game. She understands how to interact with people, have social skills. And her job is a waitress at what she chose as the county's fanciest restaurant. Now in Baltimore that wouldn't be a lot, right? But who do you think gets more tips than any other waitress in the whole building? She makes $160 to $200 a day. And she's doing it when she's 17 years old. Now she's been saving, you know, several thousands of dollars in a very short period of time while she was working. I said that to say this. We took her money, cash. She chose the car because, you know, it's her money. She turned 18. She can do whatever she wants to do with it, right? Yeah. So she chose a BMW Z3 Roadster. And I went and got it for her last weekend while I was down in Dothan. I was halfway to Jacksonville, and it was in Jacksonville. So I left Dothan and I drove to Jacksonville to pick the car up. But the reason I tell you this is the young man who sold us the car was a young Cambodian man. He'd been in this country only 15 years. 10 of his family came over 15 years ago. He'd run this car lot. No, I'm sorry, they came over in 1987. How many years ago was that? 20 years ago. He'd owned a car lot in Jacksonville, Florida for 15 of those 20 years. Could not even speak the language when he came over. And I got to know him a little bit. And I said, because his car lot had grown, and that was his personal car. He was trading in for a $180,000 Mercedes. And that's, so, you know, my daughter was getting his personal vehicle. And I said, wow, you know, you guys do drugs? That, no. No. I said, was your old family as ambitious as you are? He says, yeah, we're all doing good. You know, we love the country. You know, and his English is still a little bit broken. And I say, well, you know, I see you and what you've done, and I'm impressed. And what has your family done? He said, well, my brother, the one that your wife spoke to, you know, my brother, and he called his name. He says, he was just here helping me for a few days. He's got his own thing. I said, what does he do? He said, he's a singer. I said, what kind? He said, well, you know, like rap type singing, but he's a singer. He said, he was just here, you know, on vacation helping me a few days. He's going back to Hollywood now because he's got a contract to fulfill in Hollywood. Now, my point is, they've only been in the nation 20 years, could not even speak their language when they came here, and the whole family has their levels of success which surpass 95% of Americans. What does that tell me? Exactly right. He faced the wind. He faced the music. He knew he had to learn how to play the game in this country. And his opportunity he didn't have in his own country. And he took advantage of the opportunity. Clean-cut, good-looking young man, had a wife and 2 kids. He's part of the American dream. And he's only been here for 20 years. It should show us about ourselves. Is multiple streams needed? Yes. Has anybody ever lost a job?
Yes.
So your horse fell down and broke a leg.
Yeah.
And now you got no horse to ride. Where's your money coming from?
That's right.
You know, that's life.
Yeah.
You know, I think Forrest Gump coined the phrase, right? It happens.
Oh, yeah.
It happens. That's life. Expect it, guys. Stuff happens. And, you know, your deal a deck of cards. Sometimes you get to hold on to them for a while. Sometimes you don't. But if you're going to go through life long enough, it will happen to you.
Yeah.
And if that horse falls down, breaks a leg, you better have another horse you can jump on right now. And that's the multiple streams of passive residual income. Optimize your body wellness. This can do everything for your finances. How long do y'all think it's been since I've been to a hospital?
Years. 30 years. 35 years. 2 weeks.
I was in a car accident when I was 18 years old. Who said 2 weeks? I had to go to visit you. No.
Nobody's going to take it from Jim.
If I went, it was only to visit somebody. Last time I was in the hospital was when I was 18 years old in a car accident. Guess when the last time my wife was in the hospital? She had my 10-year-old child. And time before that's when she had my 18-year-old child. And time before that is the other child.
The 24-year-old.
You haven't had any health insurance either, right?
That's a good reason not to go to the hospital, isn't it? It motivates you. What does it motivate you to do?
Not go to the hospital.
Stay healthy.
There you go.
Doesn't that just make good sense?
That's right.
Now, my point in all this is, how much money can you save if you're not having to deal with that part of life? And the thing with health insurance, you know, since I was a young person, I've always been want to do it myself, entrepreneur kind of guy. I worked my part in industry, you know, and did what I could there. And I finally, when I reached the top of General Electric Company, you know, I got promoted up quick because I was, after that brass ring, and I finally made it up to a floor supervisor position, and I was bucking for plant manager. And I said, well, what's my next move? How do I get to be plant manager? They said, well, he has to die. He looked pretty young, you know. And I wasn't a vicious character, no way in my heart, so I figured he's going to live a long time. And that's when I decided, well, I got to do something different. I can't wait for a man to die 40 years from now before I take his place.
Right.
So that's when we started to understanding the rules of the game. Optimizing your body wellness is just another way to keep the change in your pocket. Capitalizing on a $1 trillion industry. That is the body wellness industry. Capitalize on it. Now, who does Paul Zane Pilsner say will win this game in the end? He tells you.
Teaches you. And teaches.
Right. He says the company that teaches the end user, really educates them on the products and the services, will be the long-term company that everybody will eventually come back to.
That's right.
So why is our mindset from day one to thoroughly educate our crusaders? Because we want you to come back.
That's right.
If you leave us for a while, you're going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, I read it sort of in a book one time. Raise a child up in the way he should go, and he will always return to that way. It doesn't mean he ain't going to run out and get round bunches and ignorant and all that kind of stuff, but he'll return to that way. My son's 24. He's just now returned to that way. But thank goodness, the prodigal son is back. Praise God. Kill a fatty cat, do all that stuff.